once again, class. Good morning. This is Teacher Joker. And for today, class, our subject is science. And our topic for today is about the three R's. And what are the three R's? These are recycle, reduce, and reuse. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so first is we have reuse. In three R's, we have reuse, reduce, and recycle. So first is reuse. When we say reuse, it means to use repeatedly, use again. For example, the bottle of water. Okay, we have bottles of water over here. Okay, if we drink already the water, instead of throwing it away or putting it in the garbage, we can reuse it again, right? So refill it again with water, use again the plastic so it will be usable. Okay, in that way we can stop or minimize throwing many garbage in the bin. So reuse means use repeatedly or use it again. Okay, reuse. Another example of reuse is this one. We have here bulk of papers. We have papers over there. Used papers. This is already used. And then out of this paper, we can make a basket. See? We can make a basket out of this paper. Another example of this is, if you remember, the pack of milk that you make before as a basket, that is also an example of reuse. Okay, so this is an example of reuse. Making a basket out of the papers, used papers. Another example of reuse, class, is reuse plastic cups. So instead of throwing it away, you can use it again. But of course, before using this one again, you need to wash it first, wash it properly before using it again. So that is an example of reuse, using again. Okay? Number two is reduce. So first is reuse and second is reduce. When we say reduce, reduce the volume of waste. So what are the waste? These are the garbages and powers, for example. So an example of reduce, class, is reduce the use of electric power. So at home, for example, if you're not using the television, remove the plug of the television. If we're finished charging our phone, our tablets, or our iPhones, then we must remove the charger from the plug, because in that way, we can minimize the use of electric power. Or for example, before you go to sleep, don't forget to turn off the light. That is one way also of reducing the use of electric power. And last from the three R's is recycle. So when we say recycle, or to recycle is to reuse. Okay? To recycle is to use again, or to reuse waste material by converting it into something new. So for example, you buy a bottle of cola, for example, and then after drinking the cola, you can make a flower pot out of its bottle. So can you see the flower pots over here? So these are made from plastic bottles of cola, or what's that? Oranges, for example. And then cans over here, a flower pot made of cans. So after eating the food, you can make the can as a flower pot, or make a flower pot using plastic bottle. So see, this is what we call recycle, making something new out from the original one. Okay, so again, recycle means use again. Use again. Understood? So to summarize our lesson for today, which is about the 3 R's, and these are reduce, reuse, and recycle, we have here another examples in each 3 R's. So for reduce, buy less things, meaning do not buy a lot. Buy only the things that you need. Another is reuse. In reuse, drink from bottles that can be used again each day. So as what I've said a while ago, if you're going to use plastic cups to drink water, do not throw it away, but rather you wash it properly and use it again as a cup. In that way, you are reusing the plastic cup. Okay? And then for recycle, if you remember at school, for example, we have a recycle bin, right? For plastic, for bottles, and for papers. So by doing that one, we can recycle the things into a new resource. So for example, put paper into the recycling bins so it can be made into new paper, or out of plastic bottles, for example, make it as a new resource. For example, the plastic one, we can use that one as a flower pot, or we can make it as a decoration, for example. Okay, so those are just some of the examples of the 3 R's. And before we end the lesson, what are the 3 R's again, class? We have reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, so these are the 3 R's. Now for your activity, you're going to give at least one example of reduce, one example of reuse, and one example of recycle. Okay, so kindly do this one on your notebook. Write an example of each R. Understood? So that ends our lesson, class, and see you next meeting.